Welcome to Comics League. I'm Jared, and I'm here with Nick from Phoenix Press. What's up, brother?
Good. I would say special guest, but I'm kind of an honorary host at this point.
You might as well. So the reason why I'm making this video, this is an Indie Wednesday. In fact, Indie Wednesday has been pushed because something came out technically last night that set the fandom on fire. So we had to
Does it have anything to do with the shirt you're wearing?
Yes, it does. Well, first off, the Snyder Cut came out on digital. I have it downloaded to my computer. So that's the first thing. But second off, so the Rolling Stones, they published this hit piece article that
the day before.
First off, that's the first red flag. It's a little suspicious.
The timing is just a little bit too perfect.
Now we're going to talk about it. So the first thing I want to say is that whether I'm going to tell you this could be true. Everything in this article could be true. Could be. The problem is there's too many inferences and too many hearsay moments and this author undermines her article so many times. I'm going to start off with just one point. She literally starts the article where they talk by calling the first words are calling the Snyder Cut community toxic fans. In other words,
talk about poisoning the well.
No, it's all of them. So I'm like, that's your first problem. Well. Yeah, exactly. That's your first problem when you're committing the fallacy of composition. That's your first undermining moment. So before I go, what I did is I typed up 10 points on why I'm not so inclined to believe this article. Now, I just want to be clear. Whether or not I believe this article or not has nothing to do with me liking Zack Snyder's movies. I'm just approaching this from as objectively as I can. So, with that note, Nick, what was your opinion reading the article?
I haven't read it, but from everything I heard, may I curse?
Okay, I'll bleep it out, but that's fine.
It's absolute bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kind of my thoughts too, to a degree. Now. But isn't it very suspicious that again, I want to emphasize this point. They chose when it's coming out on digital to do this. Now, here's another point that's undermining it. We already had an article coming out saying the Snyder Cut community was a bunch of bots when the Oscars thing happened. And by the way, that was debunked real fast. So that's your first problem right there. That we weren't born yesterday. So, all right. So going through the article, so her basic idea is that bots fueled the Snyder Cut community. That's the first claim. Her second claim is that Zack Snyder was like the Lex Luthor of this storyline and was trying to like threaten Warner Brothers and told Ray Fisher to come out with all these accusations after the Snyder Cut was announced. So basically, Snyder was operating behind the scenes.
That sounds like a Joss Whedon thing to do. Like, I'm sorry, but when everyone who's worked with Zack Snyder on Justice League has said great things about him, especially people like Gal Gadot or Jason Momoa, who are powerful enough to where they don't have to be coerced to do anything they don't want to do.
Exactly.
You know. Also, like the accusations that Ray Fisher levied against Joss Whedon, whether or not they are true, are in line with the kind of actions that Joss Whedon would do. Like, it makes sense. I'm not saying they're true or not, but saying, the accusations.
There's a pattern, in other words.
Pattern. Versus Zack Snyder has been nothing but a world-class gentleman.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a good point that for some reason I didn't have on here. Everyone that's worked with Zack Snyder has said he's the greatest person I've ever worked with.
Dave Bautista, when he did that zombie movie with them, had nothing but good things to say about it. Yeah, he had nothing but good things to say about Zack Snyder.
In fact, Ben Affleck and all these guys came back to shoot those additional scenes because it was Zack Snyder asking them.
They didn't have to.
It turns out, though, the Green Lantern scene that he wanted to shoot, that he shot and he has the footage. Apparently, so he couldn't use that footage anyway because Warner Brothers didn't know he was filming that, and they didn't authorize the Martian Manhunter scene. But it's just they decide, you know what, just give him the Martian Manhunter at this point.
Yeah, like they don't care about Martian Manhunter, but they want to make Green Lantern work.
Yeah. So
Which, you know, when they do another Green Lantern movie, even then Skyver's going to cash a big check. And
yeah, I know.
glorious.
I know. Once again, I just love where he posted on Twitter saying, "I just bought a new car with my Snyder Cut earnings." That was so good, and I love they went crazy when they saw it. Special thanks, Ethan Van Sciver.
Now, going back to digital, didn't it get to like number 3
Yeah.
on Amazon? You know, Amazon's chart.
Yeah, actually in iTunes too.
Yeah, like here's the thing. You know, like, sure, there may have been some bots. Like, I'm not gonna like deny that, but like, bots can only do so much. Like, you really think bots could push it up to number 3? Or, and here's the thing, they actually posted a percentage of how many bots they think were responsible.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, exactly. How many? No, Nick. Okay, so for their claim to hold weight, how many bots? What's the percentage it would have to be? Let's start with that.
Over half.
Okay, let's say like 55%. Okay.
That's a conservative number, but okay.
The amount was 13. So you're telling me 87% of the Snyder Cut fandom is legitimate. Oh, by the way, speaking of the Snyder Cut coming out, because this whole article is covering even the release on HBO Max, it crashed HBO Max's servers. Excuse me, bots can't do that. Well, I'm sure they
can. Well, it's called a DDoS attack, but I'm gonna just to be fair, that actually could be done by bots. Like, you know.
Yeah, I just realized that when I was saying it.
Let's be fair here. Let's be fair. You know, I still think the bots thing is bullshit. You can bleep that out. But like, just to be perfectly fair, that part I think, you know, like, I mean, personally, I think it was human demand, but like, that could have been.
Okay.
But, like,
okay.
I was reading some Facebook posts before we went on the air about this stuff, and like they're saying like, oh, it's like, what if you have the bots are posting 100 times a day, where the 87% is posting 2 times a day? Like, even with, you know, it's like, even with the bots posting, you know, externally more, the percentage is still low. It wouldn't really compensate.
Yeah, exactly. So 13%. Wait, so you wrote an article just to tell me that 13% of the people that wanted the Snyder Cut to be released were fake accounts. That's why you wrote the article.
You want to know what percentage that I'm wondering about? How many bots were used for Amber Heard's Twitter defense? Like that's or what about the anti-Snyder Cut campaign? Like, you want,
or the MCU fanboys.
Like, you want to start comparing numbers? Let's actually kind of compare numbers so we can kind of get like an average. Because, like, you know, what if it's like MCU is 30% bots? Does that mean the MCU is being, you know, which we kind of have?
Did you know someone actually posted this today? Do you know how many of the like accounts that are like so? Here's the Rolling Stones publishing an article saying the Snyder community relies on bots and stuff. But did you know that like 25% of the accounts they interact with, or like the tweets they do, are bots? 25% of the Rolling Stones. So
I guess you can say the hits just keep on coming.
And
it's like a
and it's
slightly
less. Yeah, exactly. Slightly less.
Sorry.
For Warner Brothers. So,
but still probably higher than 13%, I imagine.
Very high. Yeah, that's what I remember. It was higher than 13%. So
the fact that the Snyder Cut is such a low bot count would actually make it seem more legitimate. Congratulations, you just ruined your own argument.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, I'm just having so much fun with this.
Exactly. Oh, here's one more thing. Isn't it possible that all the people that like support John Kent's Superman could be bots too? Just saying. Tom Taylor. Okay.
Tom Taylor's a bot himself, you know. So
yeah, he's a major troll. So
he's a CIA bot.
So the next parts of the article are, so we've already dealt with the whole 13%. The next parts of the article is dealing with Zack Snyder being like a Lex Luthor. Now, one of the points that I'm going to say is that, okay, by the way, is that first off, Rolling Stones is only doing this to stay relevant because I was watching a video by like Clownfish TV, and he says a lot of these entertainment agencies are dying or there's massive cuts coming. So Rolling Stones is trying to remain relevant and get clicks. So they figured, let's piss off the Snyder fans.
Yeah, like I watch Clownfish TV too, by the way, good outlet, you know.
Yeah, very good. I love them.
Yeah, like they've been saying like all the venture capital money is starting to dry out. That's why you're starting to see like all these other outlets like BuzzFeed, Vice, you know, Deadspin. They're all starting to contract and whatnot, or they're getting more sensationalist. It's a dying industry.
Yeah, so they're trying to generate clicks and say we're valuable. Now, okay. Now the next one is that also why report this now?
I mean, it's pretty obvious why they're doing it now.
I understand that researching takes a while, but you had like four. You could have warned us pre the coming of the Snyder Cut. You could have said, okay, a bunch of these articles are a bunch of these accounts are fake, or even after the Snyder Cut came out, but you waited a year or so.
It's glaringly obvious because they released it the day before. And by the way, like all day on Twitter, it's been in my trending tab. So Twitter has some collusion here too, because like it's been sitting in my trending tab. The thing's been there, kind of telling me. You know, obviously I'm probably flagged as like a Snyder Cut fan, so that's probably why they're trying to show it to me. But like, you know, but it is so glaringly obvious. It's like they dropped it the night before because they want to try like. And even with that interference, it still was number 3 on Amazon. And
by the way, also, how many times did they post that article on Twitter? They literally tweeted it 4 times.
Like I said, it's glaringly obvious. Like you could not get more obvious if Wonder Woman smacked you upside the head with her sword. Which please,
nice,
Tommy, please,
nice, yes, please. So going back to and then she makes a bunch of dispersions on Snyder's character. Which, granted, I wasn't there, so I don't know this. Now, here's my issue with it. A lot of what she says is hearsay, or it's like our sources say. Okay, if you're going to make these types of claims, you have to give me more than our sources say.
All right. So also, to be fair, sources are kind of a sacred thing. So it's like not revealing your sources is like one of the biggest things you don't do when it comes to journalism. That being said, when people want to cover up bullshit, they say rumors or sources say, because they don't have to reveal their sources.
I mean, you don't have to give me like the name of the person. You could just say someone high up at Warner Brothers or something like that. Because immediately when you just say my sources tell me this, it makes it sound like, okay, so it's a disgruntled employee.
Yeah, like a lot of the good outlets, you know, that I watch, when they talk about a source, they say, hey, it's an employee of this company. They sent me their ID. I verified it. You're just going to have to trust me. You know, it's like, it's up to you. Do you trust that outlet? Do you know, and whatever? And, you know, usually I do, but like, they usually kind of go into more detail. Usually when it's like sources, or even worse, when it's rumors or leaks. Oh my God, I hate leakers. Mm-hmm. They're the worst. They're like, leakers are like the bottom of the bottom feeders.
Mm-hmm. So I agree with you on that one. So that's really my key point here, is that she's way too general on her points. And and also,
or even if she said sources close to the productions or whatever, you know,
she did say that.
At least, well, still.
yeah, but here's my issue here. You don't have to tell me who it is, but you have to be a little more than our sources say. Okay, so my sources say Zack Snyder's a nice guy and would never do this. We can go back and forth on this all day.
I have rumors from a trusted leaker that the person who wrote this article smokes crack.
Yes, exactly. So now another point.
But the thing is, what we just said, based off of like you know their what we said is yes, it's true, as what they're saying. Thus, the Rolling Stones author smokes crack. Ha! And
now again, here's the other thing: is that some people have said, well, she's a respected journalist that's been doing this for years. So I'm like, trust me. Post 2016, there's been plenty of respected journalists They have done unjournalistic stuff. Plus the
Hail
fact,
the Reds! Hail the Reds!
yeah. Plus
Sorry,
the
I
fact,
had something in my throat there for a second.
plus the fact. Wait a second. This person also has demonstrably a vendetta against Zack Snyder and his fandom.
Her bias is showing.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like that Oscar dude that that was trying to say that the Oscar win was bots. Very clear vendetta. It's like you see her post glowing stuff about Joss Whedon,
Who is a confirmed abuser.
Yeah, so I'm like, wait a second here. If you want me to believe this, maybe don't have that stuff up.
Okay, let me riddle me this. Okay, if Joss Whedon is so good, why is he effectively blacklisted? Meanwhile, Zack Snyder is still getting work. And the thing is, people who in Hollywood, they still get work when they're easy to work with. It's why Tom Cruise still keeps getting work, even though he says the most bat crap, insane things about Scientology. He still keeps getting work because he is a joy to work with on set. Same thing with Zack Snyder. You know, people may not like him, but supposedly he's a great director to work with, so he still keeps getting jobs.
There's a reason why Netflix brought him on and literally told him, do whatever you want. Literally told him that.
Yeah, he's still getting work, and like he seems to still have some association with WB. Like WB hasn't kicked him out the door. Like they're still pushing. Like you really think they would be releasing the Snyder Cut on digital if they didn't think they could make money off of it? Like
Nope.
you really like WB still has Snyder kind of
promoting.
They may have shoved him into a closet, but he's still in the building.
Yeah, because you would think that they wouldn't promote it or anything like that if it was so much of a flop as they wanted us to believe. Another thing I want to do is bring up. Okay, so I'm also brought up about him telling Ray Fisher to go again to like. She's drawing like suspicions about the timing of the Snyder Cut being announced and Ray Fisher bringing out his accusations against Joss Whedon and trying to link Zack Snyder to that. But my whole thing on that is because her question is, why did he wait this long? Well, with the release of the Snyder Cut, could be there'd be more eyes on this, so he would get more attention to
Also,
the cause.
Counterpoint. Doing all this stuff effectively tanked his career. You would think if he was actually coerced by Zack Snyder, you would think that he would come out, because here's the thing: if he came out with information that Zack Snyder coerced him, he would be welcomed back into the arms of Hollywood with open arms, because people who are anti-Snyder would want him to tell the story. You know, and the thing is, even if Zack Snyder didn't, you know, the fact that he hasn't come out like that just proves Ray Fisher's character.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know there is money in the anti-Zack Snyder game. You know, especially someone like Ray Fisher. Especially because if he came out and said Zack Snyder, you know, put a gun to my head or whatever, you know, and coerced me to do this, he would get on interviews. He'd get parts like that, you know. Like,
also, okay, so
what I'm saying is there is money in going out against Zack Snyder. True or not.
Exactly.
And he hasn't. That speaks more volumes than any of the BS that he's trying to say.
Now, some people have said, okay, so here's the one point where the Ray Fisher thing adds up. So Ray Fisher responded to this by first off telling newsflash, a failing journalist, and he tagged her, posted a hit piece to try and divert attention from the Snyder Cut being released. Okay, you can argue whether or not he should have tagged her in the article, because
Ray Fisher just doesn't care at this point. So
yeah. So and then the article claims that they reached out to Ray for comment, and he declined to comment. Ray Fisher.
I don't blame him.
But Ray Fisher posted an email, and I mean, basically posted and said, "Wait a second, that's a lie. I never said I wasn't commenting." So then the editor-in-chief of the paper sent screenshots of emails saying, "Okay, so wait a second. You did say so. We emailed you multiple times and said we're going to write this article. Can we get a comment? If you don't comment, we'll mark it as you declined to comment." Then Ray Fisher said, "Okay, so but you cropped out the bottom part of the email that where you change the due date. So it's kind of muddled, but the point is there was like parts that do make Ray look a little bad.
Like, okay, like, sure, I'll kind of grant that it's a little weird, but that thing is so small and petty, it doesn't really affect anything. Like, it's such a small little gotcha that, like, okay, sure, it's a gotcha, whatever, but like that to me, that doesn't really cast any doubt. It's like, like that's just so small. It's so small potatoes.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I just wanted to bring that up because I want to.
And I agree with you. It is a gotcha.
Now, and one other thing I want to bring up is that this is nothing new, because as Nick and I both know, the media has a very anti-Snyder fan bias, because guess what? What were they saying for 4 years from 2016 to 2020?
Snyder bad.
That, and they were saying the Snyder Cut will never come out.
Oh, did you see that post? It's like, Snyder Cut doesn't exist. It'll never come out. Like, it's like
they have no plans to release on HBO Max.
It's like when you have a girlfriend that cheats on you and she kind of drip feeds you like, oh, I saw an ex-boyfriend. We didn't do anything. Oh, we held hands. Oh, we made out. Oh, we had sex. Oh, by the way, I'm pregnant with his baby now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they drip feed you.
Here's another point here. Wait a second. So do you think that if this were a bot thing, they would have released the Snyder Cut? If it were to the point that an article like this would be necessary? Do you think if like 51% of the accounts were bots, that they would have released the movie?
Okay, my question is, how long? Like, obviously they have the capability of detecting bots. I mean, did they have it back then? Like, there's kind of a couple questions I have. Mm-hmm. Did they have the capability then? Like, how long did that process take? Because the thing is, if they knew it was mostly bots, I don't think WB would release it. That's first and foremost. Mm-hmm. My question is, did they know? Were they able to know? Like, that's kind of the questions I have.
That's true. There's a good point.
You can make the argument.
Actually, they did.
It's easier now than then.
They did, because because the story goes that Zack was in the meeting with them where he pitched releasing the Snyder Cut on HBO Max, and they said, well, a lot of your stuff is like the vocal minority of fans. And Snyder said, okay, but the Twitter, but he was basically in. Let me actually find the actual story.
Didn't the Snyder Cut people do some stunts where like they bought billboards in Times Square?
That's another thing. People are starting to ask.
Bots wouldn't be able to do that.
But people are starting to wonder if third parties were financing the movement. No, there's another trying to make it out like we're QAnon or something like that.
Well, here's the thing. If it's any third party other than Zack Snyder, then it's still legitimate.
Yeah, but they were trying to say it wasn't the movement. It was like one rich dude that donated money, or if it was Zack Snyder. But I'm like, okay, based on what facts are you making that assumption?
And like, also the other thing is, if it was bots, it had to be funded by someone. Like, what kind of rich dude would have the money and the motivation to do this? Like,
mainly motivation
Elon
because
Musk?
he'll have money.
Musk, maybe.
Watch it was Elon just to troll everyone.
I mean, to be fair, this is a deep level troll job that I could see Elon Musk doing. So it's just to be fair, like, the man bought Twitter just as a troll job. So
if you watch, Cinema Debate has a documentary out where it's basically a really long panel discussion that came out around the time the Snyder Cut was announced, and it details like what happened with Justice League, the movement itself, and then the actual like its involvement with anti-suicide and stuff. Oh, wait, speaking of anti-suicide, that's the other point. And Snyder actually said this himself. He's like, wait a second here. If this was all bots, how did AFSP make all that money? Or where do all those donations to AFSP come from?
And because here's the thing, I don't think Zack Snyder, because like if Zack Snyder was gonna donate all that money to ASP, he would have done it directly. Because I don't like his daughter, died of suicide, rest in peace. And like, I don't think he would funnel that money through whatever and donate it that way as a means. Like, that seems like really scummy, and I feel like that kind of would spit on the memory of his daughter. And like, I just don't think he would do that particular thing, because it's kind of just, it dirties the memory of his daughter. It's almost using his daughter for personal gain in a sense.
Exactly.
It's kind of, it's a bit of a leap, but like, you can kind of see where my logic is.
Yeah,
like,
I can definitely see it.
So I don't see Zack Snyder direct, because if he was going to donate the money, he would have done it himself.
Exactly.
I don't really see how he kind of go through this convoluted kind of scheme to get there to boost the numbers for the Snyder Cut. Suicide prevention, because like it's kind of disrespectful, and it's kind of scummy and rude, and it just doesn't seem like something Zack Snyder does. Joss Whedon maybe, but not Zack Snyder.
Yeah, exactly. There's no telling what Joss Whedon would do. But anyway, and another thing. So here's my last point. That's really, really, really like the key here is that this is going to be used to label all of the Snyder Cut fandom as toxic. Hell, she did in the article in the very first sentence.
Hello, fellow robot.
Yeah, exactly. I posted this spot just got Justice League on digital. So now I have it on physical, HBO Max, and digital.
Where's your physical copy?
Right with the McFarlane action figures.
Wow, you are a very.
And I plan on buying the trilogy set. I'm gonna have the entire. Some people like every version of the of Zack Snyder's movies that has come out. Now, so this is gonna be used to paint all of us as toxic, and I just want to really, point this out for those of you that are watching the video. Please, please, please! I can't say please enough. Understand that.
Please.
Yeah, I understand that. I fully acknowledge there are toxic members of this community. Just as I acknowledge there are...
Can I just say, okay, yeah. I need to kind of
take it,
Nick. Can we please stop because like every time someone says, "Oh, I fully acknowledge toxic members," there's toxic members of any community. Let's just kind of cut it to the chase right here. There's always going to be like toxic members of any community, of any fandom, and to use those toxic members to paint every like for example, there's bad My Little Pony people, there's bad MCU fans, just like but I've met tons of good bronies. Does that mean because there's some really messed up My Little Pony fans that all My Little Pony fans are bad? Swear word alert. No.
Exactly. That's really the point, because there's so many members of this community that are the most positive people in the world. Nick, myself, Isaac from Multiverse of Movies.
Shout out to Snyder Queen on Twitter.
Yeah, the Snyder Queen on Twitter. Hell yeah.
She recently followed me. That made me happy.
Yeah, she follows me too. She's pretty cool. But yeah, there's too many. I've met too many good members of the community and had too many bad experiences with the anti-Snyder community for me to say that it's all good, all bad. That doesn't work. So in conclusion, don't paint a wide brush like this author literally does in the beginning of her article. Thus undermine. That's my last point. There were too many points in this, too many logical leaps, too many like hearsay, which by the way, in a court of law, hearsay is inadmissible evidence, meaning you can't use it.
Yeah, if you watch the Johnny Depp trial, you know that for sure.
Oh yeah.
Objection, hearsay. Objection, lack of foundation. God bless Johnny Depp's lawyers.
You subjected to your own question.
or like Elaine did like that whole 30 objection streak and just shut down the entire testimony in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. So that's really what I want to say here, because we could go on for hours on this whole thing. We'll probably do a stream about it pretty soon. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. and you guys can look. As for what else is coming out on the Comics League, you can look forward to my interview with Chuck Dixon that comes out this weekend. Thank you so much for helping me set that up, Nick.
Good. I'll be happy to help you with that.
He'll be on. I'll drop Nick's details down below so you all can follow him. He's pretty close to 100 subscribers on YouTube, so let's bump those numbers up.
Yep, let's bump those. I got some rookie numbers. I got to pump those numbers up.
Exactly. So we're gonna. So I think that's a good place to call it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember, approach this with a level head and just make up your own opinion, but just don't take anything so far as an absolute truth until we get more definitive evidence.
Yeah, being passionate is great. Being a passionate fan is what restored the Snyder Cut in the first place, but don't take it too far. Respect people. If they disagree with you, just say, okay, I disagree with you. Talk to something else. And if it gets too bad, just walk away.
And by the way, Henry Cavill, in fact, I'll be honest, he's like, yes, there's like toxic fans, but mostly passionate fans that just like their stuff.
I love that interview.
Yeah.
Also, like, there's the rumors for him appearing at Comic-Con are so freaking strong right now.
Dude, you could be right. You could be right, dude.
Oh, trust me. You're gonna have to blur me because I'm gonna be like, "F you, I was right. F you, I was right." I was gonna go full Razor Fist. Like, you're gonna have to just like, cause like Razor Fist, he does like the "F you, I was right" thing. Like, I'm just gonna do that.
You know, what'd be fantastic is if the way he does it is he walks on stage and he's wearing like a button-up shirt. Then they start playing dun 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 dun. They tears the shirt open.
Not gonna lie, I would probably get.
Yeah.
All right, and we're walking.
Yeah, that's getting bleep. But anyway,
I don't blame you.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Stay heroic.